The sun crested over the horizon, casting a warm golden glow across the sprawling forest. The air was fresh and invigorating, filled with the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers and the earthy aroma of damp soil. In this vibrant world, Brina, a majestic mother bear, stirred from her slumber in the cozy den she had carved out beneath the roots of a towering oak tree. Her fur glistened in the morning light, a rich shade of dark brown that blended seamlessly with the forest shadows. As Brina stretched her powerful limbs, she felt a familiar tug at her heart, the playful energy of her only cub, Cody. Just outside their den, he was already awake, his tiny paws pattering against the ground as he chased after a butterfly flitting through the air. Brina smiled, her heart swelling with love and pride as she watched him tumble and roll in the soft grass. "Cody," she called gently, her voice deep yet warm. "Be careful, little one." Cody paused mid-chase, his bright eyes sparkling with mischief. "I'm fine, Mama, look at me." He leapt into the air, attempting to catch the elusive butterfly. His enthusiasm was infectious, and Brina couldn't help but chuckle at his antics. After a hearty breakfast of berries and honeycomb that Brina had foraged the day before, they set off on their daily adventure through the forest. The world around them was alive with sounds, the cheerful chirping of birds overhead, the rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze, and the distant gurgle of a stream winding its way through the trees. "Where are we going today?" Cody asked eagerly as he trotted beside his mother. Brina thought for a moment. "How about we visit Elder Oak? He always has interesting stories to share." Cody's eyes widened with excitement. Elder Oak was not just any tree, he was ancient and wise, having witnessed countless seasons change. The animals revered him for his knowledge and strength. As they made their way deeper into the forest, Brina took a moment to appreciate the beauty surrounding them. Sunlight filtered through the canopy above, creating a dappled pattern on the forest floor. Brightly colored flowers swayed gently in the breeze, and small creatures scurried about their business, squirrels gathering nuts and rabbits nibbling on tender shoots. "Do you think Elder Oak will tell us about the time he saw a storm blow through?" Cody asked, his voice filled with wonder. Brina nodded. "Oh yes, he has seen many storms and knows how to stay safe during them." They soon arrived at Elder Oak's grand presence. His massive trunk was gnarled and thick, with branches that stretched high into the sky like welcoming arms. As they approached, Brina noticed other animals gathered around, deer resting in the shade, birds perched on branches, and even a wise old owl blinking sleepily from a higher limb. "Ah, Brina, and young Cody," Elder Oak boomed in his deep voice as they approached. "Come closer, I have tales to share." Cody scampered forward eagerly while Brina settled down beside him. Elder Oak began recounting stories of past seasons, the great floods that had swept through the valley and how they had all banded together to survive. As Brina listened to Elder Oak's tales, she felt an overwhelming sense of belonging and safety among her fellow creatures. But beneath that warmth lingered an instinctive worry, a mother's concern for her cub's safety in such an unpredictable world. She glanced at Cody as he listened intently to Elder Oak's stories, his wide eyes sparkled with curiosity and innocence. The hours slipped by like leaves carried on a gentle breeze until dusk began to settle over the forest. As shadows lengthened and stars began to twinkle above them, Brina knew it was time to head home. "Thank you for your stories, Elder Oak," she said, respectfully as they prepared to leave. "Remember," Elder Oak replied with a knowing smile, "the forest is full of wonders but also challenges. Stay close to one another." With those words echoing in her mind, Brina led Cody back toward their den. The path was familiar yet enchanting under the moonlight, a silvery glow illuminating their way home. As they neared their cozy shelter beneath Elder Oak's watchful gaze, Brina felt an inexplicable sense of peace wash over her. She nuzzled Cody affectionately as they settled down for the night. "Good night, Mama," Cody murmured sleepily. "Good night, my brave little one," Brina whispered back as she curled protectively around him. But even as she closed her eyes, a flicker of unease lingered in her heart, a reminder that while love could conquer many things, nature held its own unpredictable power. Little did they know that soon enough, that power would test their bond in ways they could never have imagined. The tranquility of the forest was shattered the following morning as dark clouds gathered ominously on the horizon. Brina awoke to a heavy stillness that hung in the air, a stark contrast to the cheerful sounds of the previous day. She could sense something was wrong. The birds had fallen silent, and even the rustling leaves seemed to hold their breath. "Cody, wake up," Brina urged, nudging her cub gently with her nose. "We need to be cautious today." Cody stirred, rubbing his eyes with his tiny paws. "What's wrong, Mama?" he asked, his voice still thick with sleep. "I'm not sure yet, but we should stay close and keep an eye on the sky," Brina replied, her instincts sharpening. She led Cody out of their den and into the dim light of dawn. The air felt charged, heavy with the promise of a storm. As they ventured further into the forest, Brina noticed the unsettling changes around them. The wind picked up, whipping through the trees with an eerie howl that sent shivers down her spine. Leaves swirled in chaotic patterns, and a distant rumble echoed like a warning bell. "Can we play by the stream?" Cody asked, trying to lighten the mood despite the tension in the air. "Not today, little one," Brina said firmly. "We need to find shelter." Just then, a flash of lightning split the sky, followed by a deafening crack of thunder that rattled through the trees. Cody jumped at the sound, instinctively rushing to his mother's side. "I'm scared," he whimpered. Brina wrapped her strong arms around him, offering comfort. "I know, Cody, but we must stay calm and find safety." They hurried deeper into the woods, seeking refuge among the thick underbrush and sturdy trees. As they moved, rain began to pour down in heavy sheets, drenching them instantly. The forest transformed into a chaotic whirlpool of sound, thunder roaring overhead, rain pounding against leaves and earth, and branches snapping under the pressure of the storm. "Let's go to Elder Oak," Cody shouted over the din. "He'll know what to do." Brina hesitated for a moment. Elder Oak was a wise guardian of the forest, but they were far from his location now. Yet she understood Cody's need for reassurance in this tumultuous moment. "All right," she said decisively. "We'll head there together." With Cody tucked close against her side for warmth and comfort, Brina navigated through the deluge. The ground beneath them turned muddy and treacherous as they slipped and slid through puddles that formed in their path. Each flash of lightning illuminated their surroundings briefly before plunging them back into darkness. After what felt like an eternity battling against nature's fury, they finally reached Elder Oak's base, a massive trunk that stood firm against the storm's wrath. The old tree's branches swayed but did not break. It was a beacon of strength amidst chaos. "Elder Oak," Brina called out as they approached. "We need your help." The wise old tree seemed to sense their urgency even before they reached him. His deep voice resonated through the storm as he spoke. "Brina, Cody, come closer. You are safe here." Brina ushered Cody beneath Elder Oak's sprawling branches where they could find shelter from the rain. The tree's thick canopy provided some protection from the worst of it, though droplets still trickled down like tiny rivers. "What brings you here in such weather?" Elder Oak asked gently as he looked down at them. "We were caught in the storm," Brina explained breathlessly. "I wanted to find safety for Cody." "Wise choice," Elder Oak replied with a nod. "In storms like these, it is important to stay together and seek shelter among friends." Cody looked up at Elder Oak with wide eyes filled with awe and fear. "Will it ever stop?" he asked quietly. "The storm will pass," Elder Oak assured him. "But until then, we must wait patiently together." As they huddled beneath Elder Oak's protective branches, Brina felt a mix of relief and anxiety wash over her. She could hear the wind howling outside and see flashes of lightning illuminating the darkened sky beyond their shelter. Time seemed to stretch endlessly as they waited in silence, listening to nature's tumultuous display outside. Brina kept her gaze fixed on Cody, who clung tightly to her side, his small body trembling slightly from fear or cold, perhaps both. After what felt like hours but was likely only a short while later, there came a final crash of thunder that shook the very ground beneath them, a sound so powerful that it made even Brina's heart race with fear for her cub's safety. Then suddenly, silence. The rain slowed to a gentle drizzle before finally ceasing altogether. Slowly but surely, light began to filter back into the forest as dark clouds parted to reveal patches of blue sky above. Elder Oak sighed contentedly as he felt nature settle back into its rhythm once more. "You see, the storm has passed," he said softly. Cody peered out from beneath Elder Oak's branches and gasped in wonder at what lay beyond, the forest glistening with raindrops that sparkled like diamonds in sunlight. "Look at how beautiful it is," he exclaimed excitedly. Brina smiled at her cub's enthusiasm but felt an unsettling knot in her stomach as she remembered their earlier adventure, how quickly things could change in nature's embrace. Let's head back home, she suggested gently after taking a moment to enjoy their surroundings once more. As they stepped out from under Elder Oak's shelter into the refreshed world beyond, Brina couldn't shake off that lingering feeling of unease deep within her heart. A reminder that while storms may pass, life in the forest was unpredictable and ever-changing. After the storm had passed, the forest emerged transformed. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting shimmering patterns on the ground. The air was fresh and cool, filled with the scent of wet earth and blooming flowers. But while nature seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, Brina's heart remained heavy with worry. "Cody, stay close," she instructed as they began their journey back home. The memory of the storm lingered in her mind, a stark reminder of how quickly danger could arise. Cody, still buzzing with excitement from their adventure at Elder Oak, nodded eagerly but didn't quite grasp the seriousness of his mother's tone. As they walked, Brina scanned their surroundings carefully. The forest was unusually quiet, the usual sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves were muted. It felt as if the entire world was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. "Can we play a game on the way home?" Cody asked, bouncing on his paws. "How about hide and seek?" Brina hesitated. "Perhaps we should focus on getting home first," she replied gently. "We can play later." Cody's enthusiasm dimmed slightly, but he understood his mother's concern. They continued along the familiar path, but Brina couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. She felt an instinctual pull to keep Cody close, to protect him from whatever unseen dangers might lurk in the shadows. As they approached a bend in the path, Brina noticed something unusual, a faint trail of smoke curling into the sky ahead. Her heart raced as she realized it was coming from their territory. "Cody, stay behind me," she whispered urgently. They crept forward cautiously until they reached a clearing where Brina's worst fears were realized. A small fire smoldered among the underbrush, remnants of the storm's fury igniting dry leaves and twigs. The flames flickered dangerously close to their den. "Mom, what's happening?" Cody exclaimed, his eyes wide with fear. "We need to get away from here," Brina said firmly, her protective instincts kicking in full force. "We have to find safety." Just as she turned to lead Cody away, a loud crack echoed through the trees, the sound of a branch breaking under pressure. Startled, Brina looked up to see a large tree teetering precariously above them, weakened by the storm and now threatened by the fire below. "Run!" Brina shouted as she pushed Cody forward with urgency. They sprinted away from their den as fast as their legs could carry them. Behind them, they could hear the crackling of flames and the ominous creaking of wood under stress. Brina glanced back just in time to see the tree fall with a resounding crash, sending up a shower of sparks and debris. "Where do we go?" Cody cried out in panic as they reached a fork in the path. "Follow me," Brina commanded, her heart pounding in her chest as she led him down a narrow trail that veered away from their home. They ran through thick brush and tall grass, desperately seeking refuge from the fire that threatened everything they held dear. As they pushed deeper into unfamiliar territory, Brina felt her resolve strengthen despite her fear. She had to protect Cody at all costs. He was her world. After what felt like an eternity of running, they finally reached a small stream that wound its way through the forest, a place where they could pause and catch their breath. The water sparkled invitingly under the sunlight, its soothing sound offering some comfort amidst their chaos. Brina knelt down beside it and took a moment to drink deeply while keeping an eye on Cody. He splashed his paws in the cool water, trying to shake off his fear. "Are we safe here?" he asked breathlessly. "For now," Brina replied cautiously. "But we can't stay long. We need to find somewhere more secure." Just then, from above them came a familiar cawing sound. Raven swooped down gracefully and landed on a nearby branch, her dark feathers glistening in the sunlight. "Brina, Cody," she called out with urgency. "I saw smoke rising from your den. Is everything all right?" "No," Cody shouted, his voice trembling again at the memory of their narrow escape. "The fire is coming." Raven's eyes narrowed as she processed this information quickly. "You need to move further away from here," she advised decisively. "The wind is shifting. It could carry embers your way." Brina nodded appreciatively at Raven's quick thinking but felt a pang of sadness for their home, the place where so many happy memories had been made with Cody. "Where can we go?" Brina asked urgently. "There's a cave not far from here," Raven suggested. It's safe and hidden from view, an old shelter used by many creatures during storms. Without hesitation, Brina turned to Cody and said firmly, "We're going there now." They followed Raven through winding paths and thick brush until they reached a rocky outcrop that concealed a dark entrance leading into a cave. As they stepped inside, relief washed over Brina like cool water after a long day in the sun. The cave was spacious yet cozy, a perfect refuge from danger outside. Stalactites hung from above like nature's chandeliers while soft moss covered parts of the ground. Cody explored eagerly within their new surroundings while Brina took a moment to gather her thoughts and calm her racing heart. "Will we be okay here?" Cody asked as he settled down beside her. "For now," Brina reassured him softly as she nuzzled him close once more. "We'll wait until it's safe before heading back." As they huddled together in their temporary shelter, Brina couldn't shake off that uneasy feeling deep within her, an instinctive worry for what lay ahead and how quickly life could change in an instant. As the hours passed in the cave, Brina and Cody remained sheltered from the chaos outside. The distant sounds of crackling fire and the rustle of leaves in the wind faded into a low hum, but Brina's heart was still heavy with worry. She could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down on them, and she knew they couldn't stay hidden forever. Cody, however, was restless. He paced around the cave, his curiosity getting the better of him. "Mama, can we go out and see if it's safe?" he asked, peering toward the cave entrance. "Not yet, Cody," Brina replied firmly. "We need to wait until we're sure the danger has passed. But I want to know if our home is okay." Cody protested, his youthful spirit battling against his fear. Brina sighed, understanding his frustration. "I know, little one. But it's important to be cautious. We have to think about our safety first." Just then, a familiar caw echoed from outside the cave. Raven swooped in gracefully, her wings gliding silently as she landed on a rock ledge inside. "Brina, Cody," she called out, her eyes sharp with concern. "I've been looking for you." "Raven," Cody exclaimed, rushing over to her. "Is it safe outside?" Raven shook her head slowly. "The fire is still burning in your territory, but it's moving away from here. I came to see if you needed help finding a safer place." Brina felt a flicker of hope at Raven's words. "Thank you for coming," she said gratefully. "We were worried about our home." "The forest is resilient," Raven assured them. "But right now, you need to focus on finding safety." Cody looked up at Brina with wide eyes filled with anticipation. "Can we go with Raven?" he asked eagerly. Brina hesitated for a moment, weighing her options. She knew they couldn't remain in the cave forever, they needed to find a more secure place and assess the damage done by the fire. "All right," she said finally. "But we must stay close together and follow Raven carefully." With that decision made, they stepped out of the cave into the soft light of late afternoon. The air was still fragrant from the rain that had fallen earlier, but there was an underlying scent of smoke that lingered, a reminder of the danger that had passed through their home. Raven took flight ahead of them, leading Brina and Cody along a narrow path that wound through the trees. As they walked, Brina kept a watchful eye on her surroundings, alert for any signs of danger. "Where are we going?" Cody asked as he trotted alongside his mother. "There's a clearing not far from here," Raven explained as she soared above them. "It's a safe spot where many animals gather during emergencies." As they continued their journey, Brina noticed that some trees had been scorched by the fire, their bark blackened and leaves singed. Her heart sank at the sight. This was their home, their sanctuary, and it was changing before her eyes. Finally, they reached the clearing, a wide expanse surrounded by tall trees that had somehow escaped the flames' reach. The grass was lush and green, and wildflowers bloomed vibrantly as if defying the destruction nearby. "Here we are," Raven announced as she landed gracefully on a low branch. Brina surveyed the area carefully before allowing herself to relax slightly. It felt peaceful here despite what lay beyond the tree line. "Can we play now?" Cody asked hopefully as he bounded into the clearing. Brina chuckled softly at his eagerness but quickly reminded him, "Let's not get too carried away just yet. We should rest and regroup first." As they settled down in the clearing, Raven perched nearby and began to share news from around the forest. "I've seen many animals seeking shelter after the storm," she said thoughtfully. "But I also saw some brave creatures helping each other, squirrels gathering food for those who lost their homes and deer guiding lost ones back to safety." Brina felt a swell of pride at Raven's words. Even amidst chaos, there was kindness and community among the forest creatures. We should help too, Cody suggested earnestly after hearing about their neighbor's efforts. Brina smiled at her cub's compassionate nature. That's a wonderful idea, Cody, she said warmly. Once we're sure it's safe to return home, we can lend a paw to those in need. As they rested in the clearing, Brina realized how much this experience had changed her perspective on their world. The bond between creatures in nature was stronger than she had ever understood before. Suddenly, from behind them came a rustling sound followed by a soft whimpering noise that caught Brina's attention. She turned sharply to see a small fox emerging cautiously from behind a bush, a frightened expression on its face. "Hello there," Brina said gently as she approached slowly so as not to frighten it further. "Are you lost?" The fox nodded timidly, its fur ruffled and dirty from its recent escape from danger. I couldn't find my family when the fire started," it stammered softly. Cody stepped forward with concern in his eyes. "You can stay with us until you find them," he offered earnestly. The little fox looked up at him with gratitude shining through its fear. "Really? You would help me?" "Of course," Cody replied enthusiastically while Brina nodded in agreement. As they welcomed their new friend into their small group, Brina felt a renewed sense of hope blossoming within her heart. A reminder that even in times of uncertainty and fear, there was strength found in unity and compassion. Together with Raven and now their new fox friend, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, ready to support one another as they navigated through this unpredictable world. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm glow over the clearing, Brina felt a sense of purpose growing within her. They had found refuge and companionship, but she knew they could not remain idle for long. The forest was still recovering from the storm and fire, and many creatures would need help. "Raven," Brina said, turning to the clever bird perched on a branch above them, "can you scout the area and see if there are any other animals in need?" "Of course," Raven replied, her eyes gleaming with determination. "I'll fly over the forest and see what I can find." With a powerful flap of her wings, Raven took off into the sky, leaving Brina and Cody with their new friend, the little fox. Cody was still buzzing with excitement from their earlier adventures, while the fox looked around nervously, unsure of its surroundings. "What's your name?" Cody asked, trying to break the ice. "I'm Finn," the fox replied softly. "Thank you for letting me stay with you." "Nice to meet you, Finn," Cody said cheerfully. "We're going to help everyone who needs it." Brina smiled at her cub's enthusiasm. "That's right. We'll work together to make sure everyone is safe." As they waited for Raven to return, Brina took a moment to assess their surroundings. The clearing was peaceful now, but she could still see signs of the recent chaos, the charred trees on the outskirts and the remnants of fallen branches scattered about. It was a reminder that they needed to be vigilant. After some time, Raven returned, landing gracefully in front of them. "I flew over several areas," she reported. "There are indeed many animals looking for help. Some are lost, while others have been separated from their families." Brina felt a surge of determination. "Then we need to organize ourselves. We can't help everyone at once, but we can start by finding those who are closest." "Absolutely," Raven agreed. "I suggest we split up into teams. I can guide you both to some of the nearby dens where animals might be hiding." Cody bounced on his paws with excitement. "Can I go with you, Raven? I want to help." Brina nodded approvingly. "That sounds like a good plan. Just remember to stay close to Raven and be careful." Finn looked uncertain but nodded as well. "I can help too," he said quietly. "Great," Cody exclaimed. "Let's do this." With their roles decided, Brina felt a sense of pride for her cub and their new friend. They were ready to make a difference in their community. Raven led them through winding paths back toward the areas she had scouted earlier. As they moved through the forest, Brina kept her senses sharp, listening for any signs of distress or calls for help. After a short while, they came across a small clearing where a family of rabbits huddled together beneath a bush, their ears twitching nervously. "Over there," Raven pointed out as they approached cautiously. Brina stepped forward gently. "Hello, are you all right?" she called out. The rabbits looked up at her with wide eyes filled with fear. "We got separated from our family during the storm," one of them said tremulously. "Don't worry," Brina reassured them softly. "You're safe now." We're here to help you find your way back home. Cody chimed in enthusiastically. We'll stick together. You can come with us. The rabbits exchanged glances before nodding gratefully. Thank you, another rabbit said quietly. With their new companions joining them, Brina felt their group growing stronger. They continued deeper into the forest under Raven's guidance until they reached an area where several birds were chirping anxiously in the branches above. What's wrong? Brina called up to them. We lost our nest during the storm. One bird cried out. Our eggs are scattered everywhere. Brina's heart sank at the thought of helpless eggs left unprotected. We'll help you find them, she promised without hesitation. Raven flew up higher into the trees while Brina and Cody began searching below for any signs of fallen eggs or nests that might have been disturbed by the storm. After some frantic searching and coordinating with Raven's keen eyesight from above, they managed to locate 3 eggs nestled among some fallen leaves near an old log. Here, Cody shouted excitedly as he nudged one gently with his paw. I found one. Brina quickly joined him and carefully scooped up the fragile egg in her mouth before placing it safely back in its nest where it belonged. With teamwork and determination, they returned all 3 eggs to their rightful place just as the mother bird fluttered down beside them, tears of gratitude shining in her eyes. Oh, thank you so much, she chirped joyfully as she settled protectively over her precious eggs. Brina felt warmth spread through her heart at witnessing such happiness born from their efforts. They had made a difference today, a small but meaningful contribution to restoring balance in their community. As they continued their mission throughout the forest, helping lost animals reunite with their families and offering support wherever possible, Brina realized how much stronger they were together than apart. By sunset, they had helped several creatures find safety, rabbits reunited with siblings, birds restored to nests, and each act of kindness filled Brina with pride for her cub and newfound friends. Finally returning to their clearing as twilight descended upon them like a comforting blanket, Brina turned to Cody and Finn, who were both buzzing with excitement from their day's adventures. I'm so proud of you both, she said warmly as they settled down together under the stars that began to twinkle above them. We did it, Cody exclaimed happily. Yes, Finn added with newfound confidence in his voice. Thank you for letting me join you. Brina smiled at both of them, her heart swelling with love and gratitude for this unexpected journey that had brought them together during such challenging times. As night enveloped the forest around them, a world alive with sounds, the bond between these 3 unlikely friends grew ever stronger, united by compassion and resilience amid uncertainty. As dawn broke over the forest, a soft golden light spilled through the trees, illuminating the clearing where Brina, Cody, and Finn had spent the night. The air was crisp and fresh, filled with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. Brina stretched her limbs and looked at her cub, who was still nestled against her side, dreaming peacefully. Cody stirred and blinked sleepily at the morning light. Mama, is it morning already? He asked, yawning widely. Yes, little one, Brina replied with a smile. A new day has begun. We have much to do. Cody bounced up, his energy renewed. Can we go help more animals today? He asked eagerly. Brina nodded, feeling a swell of pride at his enthusiasm. Absolutely. We've made a difference already, and there are still many creatures in need of our help. Finn woke up next to them, shaking off sleep as he joined the conversation. What's our plan for today? He asked, his eyes bright with curiosity. We'll start by checking on the rabbits and the birds we helped yesterday, Brina suggested. They may need more assistance as they recover from the storm. After a quick breakfast of berries that they had gathered the day before, the trio set off into the forest once more. The sun rose higher in the sky, casting long shadows on the ground as they made their way back to the areas where they had offered help. As they approached the rabbit burrow, Brina noticed several rabbits peeking out from their home. Their ears perked up when they saw her and Cody approaching. Brina, Cody, one of the rabbits called out excitedly. We were just talking about you. Is everything all right? Brina asked, concern creeping into her voice. Yes, thanks to you, we were able to gather our family together, another rabbit chimed in. We're so grateful for your help. Cody beamed with pride at their words. I'm glad you're all safe, he exclaimed. Just then, a commotion erupted from behind them as several other rabbits hopped into view. They were carrying small twigs and bits of grass in their mouths. What are you doing? Finn asked curiously. "We're building a new shelter," one of the rabbits explained. "After losing our home during the storm, we want to make sure we're safe for next time." Brina's heart warmed at their determination. "That's a wonderful idea. Would you like some help?" "Oh yes, please," said another rabbit eagerly. "We could use all the paws we can get." With that invitation, Brina, Cody, and Finn joined in to help construct a sturdy new burrow for their rabbit friends. They worked together seamlessly, Finn gathering materials while Cody helped arrange them under Brina's watchful eye. As they labored under the sun's warm rays, laughter and chatter filled the air. The rabbits shared stories of their families while Brina felt a sense of community growing stronger around them. After several hours of hard work, they stepped back to admire their creation, a cozy burrow reinforced with branches and leaves that would provide shelter for many seasons to come. "Thank you so much," one of the rabbits said gratefully as they admired their new home. "We couldn't have done it without you." Brina smiled warmly at her new friends. "We're happy to help." With their spirits lifted from this successful endeavor, they decided to check on the birds next. As they made their way toward the trees where they had returned the eggs, Brina felt hopeful about what they might find. When they arrived at the nest, they were greeted by a flurry of activity. The mother bird was chirping excitedly while her chicks peeped eagerly from within their nest. "Look, they've hatched," Cody exclaimed joyfully as he pointed up at the nest. Brina felt her heart swell with happiness as she watched the little birds flap their tiny wings in excitement. The mother bird noticed them and fluttered down beside them. "Thank you for bringing my eggs back," she chirped gratefully. "I couldn't have done it without your help. We're so glad to see them safe," Finn added enthusiastically. The mother bird smiled brightly at them all. "In fact," she said with a twinkle in her eye, "we'd like to invite you all for a feast. We've gathered plenty of seeds and berries to share." The group followed her to a nearby clearing where an array of colorful fruits lay spread out on soft grass, a delightful spread that made everyone's mouths water. As they feasted together under the warm sun, laughter echoed through the trees, a sound that blended harmoniously with nature itself. In that moment of joy and connection, Brina realized how much stronger their community had become through adversity. After finishing their meal and sharing stories of bravery and resilience, Brina felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for this newfound bond among friends, one that transcended species and backgrounds alike. As dusk began to settle over the forest once more, painting everything in shades of orange and purple, Brina knew it was time to return home, to their den beneath Elder Oak's protective branches. "Let's head back," she suggested gently as she nuzzled Cody affectionately. "I can't wait to tell Elder Oak about our adventures," Cody said excitedly as he bounded ahead with Finn following closely behind him. Brina smiled as she watched them run ahead, two friends united by shared experiences and newfound courage. Together they made their way back through familiar paths until they reached Elder Oak's towering presence once again. As night fell over the forest and stars began to twinkle above them like diamonds scattered across velvet, Brina felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over her, a feeling that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together as a family and community. In this moment of unity and love beneath Elder Oak's watchful gaze, their hearts intertwined with hope, they knew that whatever storms may come in life, they would always find strength in each other.